Just every single day recently, there seems to be something awful in the news. Just been reading the news while I was having my lunch, and just literally the whole timeline of news was just awful things happening. Like we had the attack in France with the priest that was killed, and we had all these disabled people killed in Tokyo. And then I read a whole article on these juvenile kids that were being basically tortured in detention centre in Australia. And just like literally every time I look at my newsfeed lately, it's just massacres, people being killed, mass killings, other horrific acts of cruelty, hatred. It just goes on and on and on and on, basically every single day. And I don't know whether it's that the news is focusing more on that lately, or whether it's just that it has, like, literally in the last few weeks suddenly had like a spurt of horribleness. I don't know how to describe it really. It's just, I'm not very good at articulating how I feel about it all, to be honest. I mean, I've tried to think about it, and so that I can talk about it, and I just find like my whole head just feels confuddled about it all. Like, I feel very sad for all the people that have lost families, and I'm not naive. I know that badness goes on in the world every day. I know that in particular, like America, there's just people are killed every day, constantly. There's always someone getting shot, murdered. There's always something going on, and it's only sort of recently that all this terror and mass murders and everything is getting more highlighted. The more that we're involved with our own media, what happens in media, the more we get to know about these things. Because when I was a kid, you never heard about this stuff because we only had like 4 channels on the TV, and you never got to hear about all the terrible things because as children, we weren't exposed to it. We didn't have social media, and I never read a newspaper when I was a kid, and as an adult you see it more and more. But my children are now exposed to this. They're on social media, they see the news, they read the news, and then we wonder why our kids are so friggin' stressed out all the time. And then you get something that's fun, like Pokemon Go, which is fun. Kids are out having fun with this game. I mean, I've got a nephew who very rarely really does exercise and stuff, and he's had trouble with his weight and all this kind of thing, and he's really got into Pokemon Go, and he's off out enjoying himself. He's meeting up with other kids. They're all off hunting Pokemon and doing the gyms and going to the stop points and collecting their Pokeballs and all this kind of thing, and they're having a really great time. And then you've got some bloody what I can only call spoil sports, like constantly going on about how dangerous it is and all that kind of thing, and all these kids that could walk out in front of cars and all that. But I mean, you can actually, if you ever load the game, there is a warning that says, be aware of your surroundings. And of course, anything could be dangerous. God, when I was a kid, when I was the same age as my nephew, I was out horse riding on a horse, not exactly a safe activity to do. I used to ride my bike, it must have been 7 miles to get there, to where, along cycle tracks and roads. And I used to go off building dens, climbing trees. I'd go off hiking for miles on end. I didn't have a mobile phone so that my mum knew where I was. I remember I got run over on one occasion, literally 5 minutes from home, and an ambulance came and picked me up, took me to the hospital. They tried to ring my mum. They couldn't get hold of her because we didn't have mobile phones back then. And I walked home with a massive bruise on my hip because I got hit by a Ford Escort, of all things. And life is dangerous, and kids are having fun. They're not being surrounded by all this awfulness that is going on right now in the world. And give them a break. Stop trying to always stop things. Stop trying to stop kids enjoying themselves. I mean, it's awful. Kids are growing up being, their garden is their main centre of play. When we were kids, we were off in the woods, doing dens and making, having adventures and playtime, and we used to have fun when we were kids. And just like, You know, they should be out having adventures. And if and you know, technology's advanced, things have evolved, and you know, Pokemon Go is the new trading cards thing. I mean, my son's 23 now, but when he was 13, 12, 13, he was doing Pokemon trading cards. He was going off into town, and they were having battles with their cards, and they were doing all that kind of thing. It's not really much different, really. It's just technology is different. And he's 23 now, and he's doing Pokemon Go, and he loves it. You know, and he's 23. It seems to, you know, appeal to all ages, and I think it's great because dads can get involved with their kids. They can go off adventures together, trying to find Pokemon. You know, anything to get parents involved. I don't think it's such a bad thing. You know, I wish people would just leave people alone sometimes. Stop going on at people all the time. All this PC bullshit all the time just drives me friggin' insane. It really does. God, if you listen to everybody saying, don't do this, don't do that, it's dangerous, blah, 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 you'd never do anything, would you? You'd just be sat at home, too worried to go out your fucking front door. And this whole terror campaign's the same friggin' thing. They're just trying to terrify everybody so that you're too terrified to actually go and do anything because you might get blown up, stabbed, shot at. You know, it's just another thing to stop people doing stuff. Don't let them bloody win, people, don't. We're all human beings, for fuck's sake. Why can't we just get on with each other? Why does there always have to be some evil bastard out to get the other one because they're either envious of them, or they don't like the way they live, or, you know, they don't like their sexual orientation, they don't like their race, they don't like their religion, and don't like this, don't like that? Why can't we just all get on? We're human beings, for God's sake. We live on a beautiful planet that we don't even friggin' look after, which we should be looking after. You don't have to like each other, do you? Just tolerate each other, for God's sake. I mean, what harm are people doing, loving each other, caring for each other? You know, if there is any God in this universe, this planet or whatever, he certainly wouldn't want us all being so hateful towards each other, so evil and nasty. He just wouldn't want it, would he? I'm not religious at all, but I have respect for other people's beliefs. If that's what they want to believe, they want to believe that they're bloody, you know, worshipping lizards on a pink polka dot throne, then let them go on with it. What's it got to do with me? Nothing. It's not my business, is it? It's their business. And as long as they're not doing any harm to anybody, why can't we just get on? All these extremists, they're not really religious. They don't really give a shit about God, because if they did, they wouldn't do these things, would they? And if they loved God the way they claim, they wouldn't hurt people, they wouldn't be evil. I just think these people are just fucked in the head, I really do. I just don't know what to say, it just makes me sad, it really does. I sat reading my news feed, I was like, what the holy crap, seriously? Just get on your phone, go and play fucking Pokemon Go, and fuck what everybody else thinks, seriously. Just don't give a shit. Go and enjoy yourself, just make sure you don't fall down a well, eh?